would like to say thank you for making yourself available today. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Daniel, I would also like to say thank you for being able to join us as punctual as you have been. Thank you very much, sir, for creating the time to be available here today. Thank you very much. And to everyone that is here early, I'd like to say thank you for being a part of us today. Introduction for Mr. Daniel Chinagoze. Mr. Daniel is the founder of Innovation Growth Hub, a startup business, and he has been able to develop career in firm working across Africa. Is reckoned within, developing entrepreneurs and enterprises both locally and internationally. So today is going to be enlightening us on how to position our eco businesses in for investment opportunities. So Mr. Daniel, the floor is yours, and thank you very much once again for creating time to be here.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so it's always a joyful thing. I'm always happy whenever I talk to entrepreneurs or people building their businesses. From what I have been able to understand from the team, I think Tolu has. I understand that I'm speaking with members of the Lagos Economy Business Network, Economy Lagos Business Network, and
Economy
I want
Business
to say
Network.
welcome to everyone. Economy Business Network, okay, Economy Business
Yes,
Network Lagos, and
yes,
I'm glad. A few days back, I was on the same panel with special advisor to the governor on climate change and circular economy, Madam Oshodi, and we had what a good time at the stage. Titilayo Oshodi, what a good time on the stage, and then she said, Daniel, I think I need to invite you to talk to our community so that we can share with your from your wealth of knowledge. I would like to say that entrepreneurship is not something we should do alone. It's not something we should do alone. It's something we should. I'm looking for a link I can use and invite people to join us in this section. Confirm I can share the link you shared with me, or is there a different link to share? I just want to drop on different platforms for people to join us.
You can go ahead to share the link that was sent to you, sir.
The one you sent to me on WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, but I thought that's a co-host access. One more minute. My team just asked me for a link. Join if you can. Okay, so what I want to do with these few minutes I have today is to share with us how do we position our business for eco-friendly investment. How do we help make sure that our business is well positioned? How do we make sure that our business is well positioned to raise the funds they need to grow their businesses? Because I've noticed that yesterday I sat in a panel with interviewing like 16 businesses we wanted to invest in their businesses. It was unfortunate that out of the 16, is it 16? Yeah, 16. It was only 6 people that made it through to the point of getting investment. Now the challenge is that these businesses, some of them actually should get this investment, but certain errors were committed by the founders during their presentation that they did not get the investment. Okay, and I've just seen that I have 40 minutes, so I need to get on with it so that in 40 minutes I'm able to share with you what investors will be looking at when they want to give you funding, what I will be looking at if you are sitting in front of me and you're looking for funds from us. Okay, what will I be? What do I expect of you? Okay, at some years back, the co-chair of African Business Angel Network, who is also very familiar with, who is one of the strong founders of Lagos Angel Network, Mr. Tommy Davids, shared with us something that he had called the poem framework. Okay, around something very, very important. Okay, if you want to go, there are core strategic areas if you need to focus if you want to raise investment, if you want to get to an investor, if you want to be investment ready, so to say. There are areas you need to focus on. There are areas you need to be particular about. First is the vision of the founders. Okay, vision, that's the founder story about the problem he wants to solve, and their innovation driven commercial solution. Okay, or right now in Echo, he needs to talk about the problem he wants to solve in the environment, how his problem is solving a particular climate change problems, and how his innovation is going to mean good business. Now, despite the fact that you are solving a climate change problem, it should not be a problem that leads you to loss. It should also be profitable. Okay, even if the investment you are getting is a grant, nobody is giving you investment for it to not to be profitable. I wish we had time to introduce ourselves in one word so that I know the demography of the people I have here. So what you are going to do for me as a favor is to tell us your name, where you are joining us from, and your type of business. Your name, where you are joining from. So if all of us are joining from Lagos, you need to tell us specifically where in Lagos you're joining from. Like me, my name is Daniel Chinagozi. Right now, I'm not joining from Aba, like some of us know where my business is based. I'm joining from here in Ikeja, Lagos, where my home is. So I want to know where you're joining us from and what type of business you run. I run Innovation Growth Hub. It's a technology, business, and creative incubation hub. We focus on early stage startups, identifying businesses that are at their early stages and giving them support to be able to grow their businesses. Um, so, so I want to know what your business is about. Each and every one of us, I want to know what we're doing. Please, can you go to the chat box and just tell me about your business. Tell me where you are joining us from. It's very important because it will help us. It will help us a great deal. Okay. Something has happened. It has moved me to an eco-friendly environment. Okay, please stay in the environment I know. Please, I am waiting to see that in the chat box. So what must happen is that we must know clearly Engineer Wasu, lead fish love in Mota Ikorodu, beautiful Lagos. So I want to see the rest of us type out where they're going to. So it will give me an overview of the kind of businesses I'm talking up to. So in my examples, I will dovetail to our businesses. Mr. Toyin, tell us what you do. Tell us what, not just mention the business, tell us what your business does, okay? It's just in one line sentence, okay? I'm able to pick it up from there as I go on. So the vision is very important. He's on the founder's understanding of the innovation you want to, and then how commercially driven or problem solving that solution is. Okay, proposition is the startup proposition. We look at the startup offer, the product or services the startup is offering to a target customer in a particular segment in a specific market. Your proposition must be a specific product or service. We must clearly know it, because sometimes you see people that have an idea, but they can't speak out the product or service that is enshrined in their solution. Okay, and they don't know the specific market they are providing until a proposition is valuable. You must know the market. You must be specific about the product or the service. Okay, in a targeted specific market. Do you know the target customer and the target market? The customer. So I've talked about the problem, I've talked about the innovation, I've talked about the solution, I've talked about the product or service, I've talked about the customer, and I've talked about the specific market. Very important. Then we need to talk about the organization. Is the startups, we'll be looking at the organization here, we'll be looking at the people in the startup, the technologies in the startup, the processes in the startup. Those are the things that make up the organization. The people, the processes, the technologies to deliver this proposition we talked about earlier. Okay, and then we look at the economics. Okay, measure the startup use of capital. The money you are looking for, what is it going to be used for? The expenses the startup must make to survive, the revenue the startup must make, or so the revenues that create impact in the startup. Are you making revenue? Are you creating impact? What's the measure of this impact you're creating? Can we value that impact in terms of carbon credit or in terms of naira or dollar? Okay, we need to understand the economics around the business, and then we check the milestones. What are the things you need to measure? Achievements, challenges, target, MVPs. Are you at MVP level? Are you at different level? We need to know, have you built a prototype and all that? All those milestones, those are the things we are going to be looking at when we are talking about the frame network. Okay, framework, poem framework. Okay, now the first and most important thing, I talked about it. We need to talk about the proposition. We talk about the proposition. We need to talk about the economics, the proposition, the organization, the economics, and the milestone. The founder must have this in front of him at every point in time. Okay. Engineer Wasiu. Okay, let me check again. Let me go back here. Bola Ramos, why waste is a textile and fashion waste. Beautiful. Why waste? I like this. Textile and fashion waste. A couple of people in my city, Aba, like I earlier mentioned, my company's head office is in Aba. We support a number of fashion startups, and one of the startups we support is called Leather Eat. Leather Eat goes and take waste from fabrics and all that and upcycle into upcycling of old fabrics. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I hope any of you came for the the CAF Climate Action Africa conference forum that just ended. If you didn't, it will be good you in the next few weeks check out on our various platforms to find out what you have missed out. Okay, I can see Aledehin Anu Oluwakbo, upcycling of soft plastic nylon waste. Okay, beautiful. I have a lot of interest in things like this. I will, as the time goes on, I will share with you what my experience in the upcycling business, recycling and upcycling businesses have been. I started my career as a waste manager, as a waste management expert. I started my career in 2009, when I founded Permanent Waste Management and Environmental Services, where I basically went to college with my first degree was around technology, environmental technology. I focused on waste management and pollution control, where I built a pyrolysis equipment for my final year that recycled plastic waste to various things. We collected the pyro oil and fractionally distillated it to get a material that we can crack and we can blend with diesel for diesel at some certain temperature, and we got waxy oil that we use for candle production, and the chaff from our product was used as aggregate for road construction. It was a beautiful period. Led me into doing a lot of other projects in the waste management space. I had in the last 10, 15, 10 years worked with African Development Bank as a technical expert on waste management, where we have worked with them to design waste management strategies for cities across Africa. And that's my 8 to 5 life. Innovation Growth Hub is my expression to bring a support for young people. But I'm glad that I'm with people in the eco space, and I joining you today will make me part of your community. And as much as opportunities come in the space wherein you are interested in, I will be willing to always share it with you through our amazing Bola Tife that has been following up on me to make sure we're in this program. Okay. Where am I? Okay, let me go back to where I am. Okay. Just wait. So every founder must be interested in. So the first is the founder. Does he have a vision that is clear about the problems he wants to solve? Does he have a clear proposition? Does he understand the organization? Does he understand the economics? Does he understand the milestone? Those are the things I would check when I'm investing in an entrepreneur. So over the years, we have seen that entrepreneurs must be people that must show strong commitment to understanding their business and what the businesses are about. Entrepreneurs must be people that understand this business. Okay. Now, when I talk about the founder, what do I want to check about? What am I looking out to see in the founder? What's the name of the founder? His background. What are his personal drives? What are his personal drivers? What are his core values and vision? Now, if I'm able to see this about the founder, then I can consider working with the founder. If I'm not able to see clearly that the founder understands this, the vision of the founder, I'm meant to know, like, I can't invest in you if I don't know you in person, if I can't see your background. Like, I can't see, like I've just told you my basic background around environment and all that. And I've told you that I have started a waste management business in the past. And I've told you the organizations I've worked with, gives you a background. Whenever you're looking for investment, I want you to know that the founder is important. And then the problem. The founder must be able to describe the problem very well. Problem description, size of the size of the problem and the current solution. Okay, you must tell me about the founder. You must tell me about the problem. Then you must tell me about the current solution to the problem. If you think nobody is doing anything around there, then I think you have not done enough research about the problem. And then you describe your own solution, your unique selling point, and your business model. These are three things I'm pointing out: the founder, the problem, and the solution. Okay, I want you to come and type it: the founder, the problem, and the solution. Now, I must understand the founder. Who is he? What's his background? What's he passionate about? What's he willing to give up? Is he willing to give up anything? Is he just to come? There are some people that have become grantopreneurs. Every time they are pitching for grants. Now, because you are in an eco business, does not mean your business is not meant to be revenue generating. Now, there's a model we have used in investing in our organization over the years, which is the model I still use in investing till today. Before I invest in any startup, I must come and find out how much do you need. Have you made any I will fight with this audience. I will ask you to type something. You're not typing. I said type founder, problem, and solution. 3 things. Everybody, please, let's type founder. If you are with me, the problem, exactly. Tife, thank you. The founder, the problem, the solution. Because I need you to be with me. Okay? The founder, okay, Bola, thank you. The problem and the solution. Very important things to look out for. And what are you looking out for in the founder? I've mentioned it. What's his name? What's his background? What are his personal drivers? What are his core visions and core values? Very important. Okay. Very important. Very, very important. And oh God. And it's important we understand the place of all these things. Then the next thing is under the problem, what's the problem description? Does he understand the problem? Does he understand the problem very well? Does he understand the size of the problem? Is there a solution that is currently? Those are the things I am looking out for as an investor. Okay. Now, when it comes to the solution, what sets you apart from other solutions? What's your business model? Describe the solution. You might not have it all out, but I need to know that you understand. Okay. Under your proposition, I need to know that you understand the market. You understand the geography of the market. You understand the size of the market. You understand the opportunities in the market. You understand your competition. You understand the regulations that guide your market. You understand the trends. It's very important for me. And then under your customers, you understand the profile of your customer. You understand the segment. You understand their demography. The other one I talked about geography under market, but under customers, I'm talking about demography. Okay, their psychographics, what they are about, what they believe, and then your product. You must understand the value you offer. You must understand the functions of your product. You must understand the features of your product. Understand the business model. You must understand the pricing model of your product. You must understand your market, your customers, and your product. These are the key things you can use and tell me what your proposition is about. And if you don't tell me this clearly, if I don't understand that you understand this thing clearly, it will be a challenge for me working with you or investing in you. Okay, I want us to understand this. Then another thing is how the organization itself, how are you organized? Do you have a process? Do you have your people, your staff, your owners, your management, your employees, and your partners? Do you have this thing all structured? I know you are a solo founder, but you need to find co-founders that love the business and that can carry business as much as you can carry. Most investors don't want to invest in solo founders. They want it to be for you to be able to share your vision strong enough with other people for them to believe in that vision strong enough to join you in implementing this vision. If they don't believe in this vision strong enough, okay, they might not join you as partners or as management or as employees. Another thing that is important, what are your processes, your governance, your culture, your management, your technology, your architecture, your infrastructure? What technology do you need for your business? These are the things core I will look at. If they are not technology-based businesses, what are your processes? How do you do things? Okay, are you owing debt before now? How do you raise money? Have you raised other money before now? How did you manage the grants you got in the past? Okay, the prizes you won at events and all that and all that, how did you manage it? The investment in your friends, family, the grants you've gotten, the debt you have you managed it? Okay, I was telling one of my friends that I'd bootstrapped most of my businesses to where they are at some point. And before I get an investor, I must have been making a lot of money. And then when I'm getting an investor, is when I'm willing to reward myself. Okay, I want to move. So when we want to invest in a startup, We will ask, how much do you need to make your first 10 customers or your first 100 customers? We work with you to make sure you are funded enough to do your first 10 or first 100 or first 1,000 customers. Now, after that, we want you to think in terms of raising other funds of investment after you have structured your business to manage your first 10, 100, or 1,000 customers based depending on the size of your business. There are some businesses that 10 customers is already enough, especially B2B businesses, okay? Depending, some people, their first 100 customers is huge enough. Some people, their first 1,000 customers is big enough. So when you now want to scale to your next 10,000 customers, depending on the size of your business, or your next 20 businesses, depending on the size and the approach of the business, then you're looking for much more investment. And at that point, the investment we're giving to you is investment that is tied to your revenue. The reward, the profit comes out of your revenue. We're not waiting for you to give us equity at that level. No, we play the equity game after we are sure you are making profit, you're making revenue enough for the investment that entered into your business to come out. Then from our experiences and from the data we have gathered from your business, maybe in the first 1 year or in the first 6 months, depending on the business. For example, we won't put money in your business if we can't see that your business, you can hit the ground running. Okay? If you can't do anything until you have spent hundreds of millions in building a technology, you can't solve any problem, you can't you can't get a paying customer. I'm not sure it's the business we want to focus on. The business we want to focus on are the people that they understand their value proposition, they understand where they're going to, and then we know that if we put in investment in this business, that business will go to the next level. Now, after we have done that first level of investment, we use that investment to tell your story. We use that investment to gather resources, and then we can now tell a bigger investor, a much larger investor, or an accelerator that is looking for startups to take on, and say, we gave him 1 million naira, and he was able to repay back this 1 million naira in this period of time from profits in their revenue. We need this X amount million to stay in this business for this period of time for them to be able to grow X amount. And then we're showing the investor, guaranteeing the investor, because our 1 million was able to come out. If you invest in this, we take equity with you in this business, because to protect our equity, we guarantee your business. We are able to say these startups is ready for investment. But I can't say that if I don't understand the founder, if I don't understand the problem, if I don't understand the solution, if I don't understand your people, if I don't understand your processes, if I don't understand how you have managed your finances in the past. So those are the things I look out for. If I don't understand the profitability, if I don't understand the impact, okay, I need to understand, does your economics work? Your capital, the debt, the money you have spent in the past, the profit, what are your assets? What are your liabilities? Okay, what's your impact? Which SDGs are you speaking to? How do I measure your impact? Are you cleaning? Are you just a nice to have? Okay, it's very important for me. Now, if I'm able to see clearly, this is what your impact, this is the impact you're making. Okay, and then what are your milestones? You are at MVP at this point. You are at this point. This is how you are moving from MVP. You have a validated business model, okay, and you have an established customer base, and then you have moved to the point where you have gotten you now want to do customer acquisition. You want to grow your customers. That's at the point when I introduce you to investors. They do your Series A, Series B, and all that for you to keep growing. You must have a clear milestone. What are the milestones you have achieved in the past, and what are the milestones you intend to achieve? Okay, and then we'll ask, anytime you want to ask us for investment, say, what's your ask? What are you asking for? Are you asking for money to gain more customers? Or are you asking for money to bring in more talent? Are you asking for funding to put back in the business? Or are you asking for guidance? Are you asking for mentorship? Are you asking for us to bring are you asking for us to bring our expertise or experience to you? Okay, Your vision must be compelling. Your proposition must show your market strength. Okay. Your organization must have strong management depth. Your economics must show a level of financial returns. Your milestone must show me an exit. Me, I used to take my exit. I used to position myself for exit before I give you real investment. It must show that this person is willing. That's why most of the businesses we have invested mostly are small businesses in the fashion space, and on the upcycling, recycling space, and businesses in the food space, because I know that if I give a fashion designer, if I invest in or a shoemaker, invest in the basic equipment they need and get them operational costs. Operational cost is you need because you're a shoemaker already. The operational cost you want to buy materials to supply a particular number of goods or to fulfill a particular number of order. Now, as those order is coming from, we are making our revenue, and then we are sharing at the point of revenue, and we are doing that to monitor, to check your person, to check who you are, to check how you are managing your revenue, your invoices, and as we're keeping those records, our accountants are giving us reports about how you are dealing with money, your relationship with money, your relationship with your team, your relationship with other people. Now, is giving us reason to stay in business with you or not to stay in business with you. Then when an investor reaches out to us and say, I want to put in money in this, your startup, then we can now tell the investor, yes, I think you should do this. Okay. Being that we have looked at you over the period of time, we have seen the things you have done, and we have seen the possibility of further growth with you. Now, one thing I must ask is, are you ready for business? Are you ready for business? Are you ready for growth? If you're ready for business and you're ready for growth, some of the things I've pointed out today will be resonating with you. And at that point, we can start saying that you are positioning well for business investment, for investment opportunities. Then you need to be on the lookout for investment opportunities. Answer to calls. Most times there are calls for people to apply for certain idea grants or investment and all that. Some entrepreneurs are too lazy to apply. Okay, if you're too lazy to apply, find people that will work with you with respect to applying for calls like that. It's very important, very clear and important. Make sure you clearly apply for calls like that, and make sure you apply. You are ready. Your pitch deck must be speaking to this. Okay, if you have an investment you are trying to apply for and you need help after you have done your pitch deck, if you share with me or if you jump on a call with me, I can basically get us to look at it and see if they are aligned with the strategies. Bolatife, I don't know whether I've done justice to what you have asked me to do today.
Of
I
course, you
would
have.
love to hand over to you, and if there are any questions, I will be glad to take them at this point. Thank you very much
All right.
for having me. My name is Daniel Chinagozi. You can follow me on Twitter at Daniel Chinagozi, on Instagram at Daniel Chinagozi, on LinkedIn at Daniel Chinagozi, or you can follow my organization on Instagram at the IG Hub Africa. Our website is www.ighub.ng. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you. That was such a great insight for us and a great opportunity for positioning our eco businesses. So, in line to likely questions, we'll be having the questions after the second guest speaker is done speaking with us, and we'll be taking 5 questions for Mr. Daniel and also 5 questions for Mr. Tokumbo. Mr. Tokumbo, we're going to be having you now. But before Mr. Tokumbo his way to speak to us today, he's going to be speaking to us how the LIRS document can leverage us on getting access to the LSCTF loan. And also, he's going to be telling us the importance of proposition with businesses in Lagos State. So, Mr. Tokumbo, thank you very much once again for joining us today. He's the special advisor to the chairman LIRS. So, Mr. Tokumbo, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tifa. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor to be here with you. And I must first send in my chairman's apology because he would have loved to be here himself, but he's on another call as we speak. And it's on reforms, the fiscal reforms for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so it's clear that what we have here, the network that we have, is on a special line of business that is critical to our own sustainability in the long run, not only for ourselves, but for generations to come. So that's why I think your group is a very important group to the economy. And we hope that we can, given people like Daniel, and we can be able to scale up your operations to help us have business that are environmentally friendly and ensure that we're able to keep our environment for future generations. But it's important also to note that we appreciate the fact that most of the people on this call are either sole proprietorships. When I say sole proprietor, that is one-man businesses, or small and medium-scale enterprises. And that interventions of people like Daniel is to help you scale up your business in the long run. It is very, very important to note that whilst it is good to run a sustainable business, it's also good to be on the right side of the law. And it's important to know that for whatever support that Daniel and his group are going to give, it's going to be based on the fact that you have to show to them that you have a viable business operation. Now, for whatever support that is come from LSATF or from Lagos State government or from the office of the SA to the governor on climate change and circular economy, the support, even if it's in the form of grant, that grant is not free money. It is somebody else's tax that Lagos has been able to pull together to be able to support you. Now, it is in the light of that that I will now go to what my presentation is, which is to say, if you are operating in business in Lagos, whether as an individual or as a corporate entity, the fact remains that you are regarded as a citizen of this country, Nigeria. So it's a legal citizenship. So it could be a corporate citizenship or it could be a natural person. At the subnational level, because it's a federal system that we operate in Nigeria, what you have is that the state governments are only concerned with the tax administration for natural persons, individuals. But for corporate entities, it is the FRS that handles them. So maybe next time, Tife, it would be good to have on this kind of call somebody from, they call them the medium or small taxes office of the FRS to be here as well. But I'll just give you what is important to do. On the foundational level, every citizen of Nigeria has an obligation, that's a constitutional requirement, to truthfully declare his or her income without any prompting from any tax authority. That is, you are bound by the Constitution of the Federal Republic that you must disclose that this is how much I earned last year. And from your own estimation, say, okay, from my understanding of the tax laws, this is how much I'm supposed to pay as tax, and I'm paying this. If you notice what I said from your own, so Nigerian tax system is essentially a self-assessment tax system. So you self-assess yourself and you do your civil responsibility by filing your tax returns and then by paying the tax that is due. Now, our laws have been, over time, been geared towards protecting or encouraging, not even say protecting, encouraging the upscaling of business enterprises. So that's why I think it's the Finance Act of 2019 or thereabouts that says that if your business's turnover is just 25 million and below, you will have obligation to file your returns, but you would not pay any tax. So at least you will disclose your position to the tax authority. They will, if they want to, they can come and check your books to validate what you have filed. And then, of course, they can determine whether you fall within that threshold or not. But for us in Lagos, if you are a corporate entity, your obligation to us are these. One, it's assumed that, okay, for a corporate entity, you employ possibly even yourself and some other people. So all your employees, including yourself, you have obligation under the payee scheme to register with us in Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, and then of course remit promptly on a monthly basis the tax that is due on the remunerations that you pay to all your employees, including yourself. So I will take it step by step so that there won't be any confusion. And hopefully maybe I won't do up to the 40 minutes that's been allocated to me, so we can have more time for insights and questions from your end, which I can possibly respond to. And like we have agreed, if we don't have enough time to respond to you here, then you have opportunity to if I will collate all your questions that I'm not able to respond to, then I'll respond to them. Next week is a bit tight for me. I'm spending most of the week in Abuja, Niger State, the following week for the JTB meeting. So, but you just give me, then in that way, just give me about 2 weeks. I'll definitely respond to every single, that's a promise from me. I'll respond to that. So now that is as an employer of labor. However, if it is just a micro business that you are the only and the sole employee and what have you, the sole proprietorship and what have you, so you will have an obligation also to register as a taxpayer in Lagos, as personal taxpayer. Now you won't have obligation for pay as you earn because you are not really an employee and what have you, but you will have an obligation at the end of the year to file your tax returns to say, just from my business, which I've done, like Daniel warned you the other time, that you must always separate your revenue from so that you have an idea of what is so you don't have what we call drawings by the operator or the like you said, I think he wanted to know who is behind the business itself, the founder or whoever is operating the business. So now, whatever you have paid yourself as a remuneration for that economic activity, as your income or as a profit which you have decided to now, instead of reinvesting that, because sometimes you have 100 naira as profit, but you can reinvest 50 naira and then take out 50 naira as your dividend. You must disclose that to the tax authority and pay appropriate tax on it. So what we have put in place is that now, if you see what I've told you now, you will see that I've told you of the constitutional obligation, and then I've told you of the fact that you say we run the personal income tax law, which is a federal law. It's not peculiar to Lagos. It's the same law across the whole federation, across all the states of the federation. So when people say that they're doing something in Lagos, it's not really true. Essentially, what we do is that we just ensure that all the provisions of the law are fully complied with in Lagos. So we set the pace, others copy whatever we have done. So, but also we understand that aside from tax being a cost to you, there's also the cost of complying. When I say cost of complying, I said you should pay your tax. In some other states, they still do cash operations. We don't do cash operations in Lagos. We started off with saying that everybody should go to the bank. But even we have migrated away from that because we have realized that technology has improved over time and we have latched on it. And that's why we created a special e-tax. That's the application we have. It's an end-to-end application that allows you to register, to assess yourself, to pay your tax, to get your receipt, and for us also to maybe evaluate what you have filed with us. If possible, raise additional assessment if you think you didn't pay enough, or give you a tax credit if you have overpaid, or if you have paid what you are then declare to you that you have no additional tax obligation to Lagos State. And also, of course, you are able to generate your own tax clearance certificate. For you to be in good standing in Lagos and to be able to access facilities from the Lagos State ETF, as well as the Office of Special Advisor on Climate Change and Circular Economy, you will need to show that you are tax compliant, and that is your tax clearance certificate. But like I said, in Lagos, what we have done is that since we have no control over what the tax rates are, it's federally determined, you understand. The only thing we can do is to ease the process of your complying, so that we not only reduce the cost of compliance, but also make it almost as easy as drinking water for you to do what is necessary to be in good standing as a good citizen of Lagos State. So we have, because I don't know whether you had the same challenge even this morning, although the service provider has apologized, that's Fiber One, that they're having challenges with and that's the one I use. So I thought I was going to be able to maybe upload something for you to be able to see. But what I will do is that I will eventually share this presentation with Tife, and then she can share with all those people that are on this call, and for their to have something to fall back on, that they know the processes on what to do. What we've been able to do currently is that e-tax platform, like I said, allows you to register as an employer of labor, so as a payee operator in Lagos, so that you can for your employees and yourself, you can file on a monthly basis the salary you are paying to them, and then effect payment of taxes that are due to the states, and then you generate your receipt. The system also allows you, as an individual, to register yourself as a taxpayer. Now, you see, there's a difference between registering yourself as a payee operator, which is different from yourself as an individual, because even as an employee, you still have an obligation to actually register as a taxpayer in Lagos and file your tax returns. So aside from what your employer will file for you, which will be, of course, on the basis of only the remuneration that employment income that you get from that employer, you can have income from other sources. That's why it is important for you also to file your own individual tax returns. And we do this. Despite the fact that the Constitution says we don't have an obligation to do it, as a rule in LRS, we do it on a yearly basis. We run multimedia campaigns every time to let people know that they have obligation to do this or the other. So you will just need to, what you need to do is very simple. And yes, this application has been optimized for they call it, I think, I'm not an IT person, maybe Daniel will help you out on that one, that it's been optimized for, I think it's a web application. So we have decided that the second iteration of it, the 2.0 of it, will be optimized also for mobile, so that at least it will be easy for people to use their mobile phone to run through. As it is now, they can still use mobile, but it's not all the features of the application that is available on the mobile aspect of it. But the next iteration of it, the update of it, 2.0 of it, will have that. So essentially, as a payee operator, that is, it's a small or whatever, whether it's a small or big or medium size. As long as you have people aside from yourself that you have employed, who you are paying salaries to on a monthly basis, then you need to operate. You need to register as a payee operator. Now you can do this in the comfort of your home, on your laptop or your desktop. However, for those who don't have the resources or the infrastructure to do it, we have dedicated desks in all our stations. We have 40 stations, offices all over Lagos, covering all the divisions of Lagos, the Ibile divisions and all the local government. So they are actually accessible to any individual. So, and the service is free of charge. I'm making that so that you are not supposed to pay for our staff to help you to register in our tax stations or in any of our offices. Please, if there's any, I hope there won't be, if there's any kind of demand whatsoever, then please escalate immediately. I'll be authorizing Tife to share my contact details along with of course, we have the other contact details for the agency itself. So aside from the ones that the general contact details for the agency, she will also share my personal contact details that can reach out to me so that we can. We have provided this infrastructure in all our offices, dedicated desks to assist taxpayers for them to register, not only as payee operator, but also to register as individual taxpayers. For those who have the resources and the infrastructure, all they need to do is you go to the etax.lrs.net. You just click on it, and then it will ask you to log. Of course, if you don't have, if you're not an existing taxpayer or payee operator, you will now create a new tax ID for yourself. And of course, you provide all your company details, the CAC numbers and what have you, so that because we need to know, uniquely identify you as a corporate entity. For the individual, of course, there will be the individual registration, which follows almost the same pattern. But of course, you will need your NIN, because that's the foundational unique identifier. Or if that one, if you are open to it, you can use the BVN. But I think because we need a very unique identifier, which is biometric based. And the ones that we have in Nigeria that are biometric based are basically the NIN and BVN. So it is important that you do the registration, because that is when we know you. And it is the person that we know that we can eventually give a tax clearance certificate to. It is that person who has a tax clearance certificate, which shows that he or she is tax compliant, that can access all these opportunities that are available through the Lagos state government. And like I will always say, tax, yes, people see it as a burden, but we shouldn't see it as a burden. We should see it more as our own contribution to the Commonwealth for the use of the general public. Because for every society, and that's why in every society, you find out that even the rules that apply to what we call legal jurisprudence on tax matters is flipped to the other side, in the sense that whereas in other situations, they will say it is the prosecutor that we have to prove that the other person is liable, and whereas in tax, it is the other way around. It is the taxpayer that we have to prove that he or she is not guilty, because of the primary importance of tax contribution. It's just like if you are you have a society as well, or Old Boys Association or whatever. That little contribution that you all make, that you put in the pool, that's what recognizes as what you can call a responsible member of that unit or of that association. And that's the way I want people to see it. And essentially what we have been trying to do in Lagos State is, like I said, to make it as much as possible to reduce the cost of compliance so that at least the additional cost of being compliant is at the minimum level. So in fact, if you have the infrastructure of you to do it, you don't have to see anybody in LRS. You can do all your tax transactions on your laptop at home or in your office. That is a big win for us. All those documentation that you have to do, you just scan and send. Prepare your documents in CSV format and upload. Those are things that you can do conveniently. Unlike before, when you have to make photocopies and what have you, and then you now take taxi to the tax office to go and pay, and then to go and file, drop the papers, and you go from there, go to the bank and incur additional costs and things like that. And that's what has driven all the reforms we have done in Lagos. But the good news also is that even at the federal level, like I said, my chairman is a committee with working around the clock. All the effort that they are trying to do also is to carry out reforms in such a way that we ease doing business in Nigeria as a whole. And part of it is also to reduce cost of compliance and also reduce the number of taxes that people or organizations are liable to pay. Because what will be done eventually is that when you can have even up to about 4 or 5 taxes, but if we are able to harmonize those 5 and the person has only one point of contact with the tax authority to effect payment, the back end can then be done by the tax authority to distribute it to the various MDAs that needs to be paid. That is the focus of at the federal level they are doing, and I'm sure given the pedigree of Mr. President, because he's the one that started even the reforms here in Lagos, we should be able to get a good result at the end of the day in that area. So, like I said, I will share this presentation with you through Tife so that you can see how you can conveniently and easily effect your registration, both as a corporate entity, as a year operator. Your registration as a taxpayer, then how you can file your returns, both as a payee operator as well as a taxpayer, how you can effect payment also on the platform, how you, of course, then you can generate your receipt yourself. Then, of course, after due review of what you filed and from other sources of information that we have, once you are certain to be tax compliant, how you can generate your TCC, which you can print yourself, and then you can always add to your documentation when you are making your anytime you want to approach LSCTF or the Office of the Special Advisor on the circular economy for any form of assistance. So essentially, what I've just driven out is that the line of business which we are doing are critical and important to us, not only in Lagos State, not only in Nigeria, but globally, because of the impact on the environment. So it is in our enlightened self-interest to support your activities in all ways. But in trying to support you, you also need to at least be in good standing in the society. Just like Daniel told you earlier on that, well, from the business perspective, from his own end, you need to show to them and demonstrate that you have a viable economic operation. For us, in this part of government, from LSCTF, from the Office of the Special Advisor on Circular Economy, you need also to show to us not only that you have a viable business operation, but you are also a responsible citizen of Lagos State. So I will stop here, and then if there are questions that I think, Tifa, you can anyone just let me know, and then I'll respond. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tokumbo. Very well communicated. And I would like to welcome the special advisor to the governor on circular economy and climate change. She joined us while we were in the section already. So welcome, Ma. Thank you very much for the opportunity for making us have another webinar on how to access finance and also positioning our eco business for investment opportunity. Thank you very much, Ma. Mrs. Titilayo Oshodi.
Thanks for having me. Let's start with our Q&A. Thank you guys for making time. Thank you to our special facilitators for the day. We really appreciate the time that you have committed to this. I'm sure that the crew and the team is budding with questions, so let's get right into it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tipe. And I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Tokumbo. What I actually want to ask Mr. Tokumbo is that does he run accelerator programs? Or how can we latch on to be able to get some of the benefits which he has enumerated? So that's my question for him. And my question to LRIS, so that I will not come back again, is that I already have a pay profile with LRS because I have been paying my pay before, but I've been having challenges accessing the e-tax portal. When I try accessing it, I inputted my taxpayer's ID. It asked me for my BVN. So when I now inputted my BVN, it now rejected it. So I don't know what can I do. Should I forget? Even I try forgetting the payer ID, it's also giving me some challenges. So I can now resolve this because I want to be paying my tax. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Wasu, the problem is easy. What you need to do is very simple. On that same platform, you have the chat feature. Just try it and see. You're able to chat live with those people on because we have a dedicated desk at the head office to address issues like this. However, if that is not resolved, then you can, of course, call us. There's a 0700 call LRS. That's 0700 2255 5477. I will share all these contact details with Tife because we have all these opportunities for it to be addressed. And then, of course, we can do an email to the addresses which we have here, and then you copy me as well so that I can follow up with the IT people. What they will do is that they will handhold you and put you through by talking to you and taking you through the steps that you need to take, step one after the other. That's what the people on will do for you on the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Wasiu, I hope your question has been answered, really, sir. Okay. So if you have
Thank you very much. I'll just quickly say the context of my question and ask my question to Mr. Daniel. So thank you, Mr. Daniel. My question is around working with co-founders, knowing fully well that transitioning from bootstrapping to achieving development and growth in a startup, especially in an environment like ours, it's a bit challenging, considering the fact that if you want the substantial skills, talents to join your team, you will need to pay them probably through your nose as a bootstrapping entrepreneur. So in order to be able to boycott that, so one of the trainings we obtained earlier, one of the accelerator program we participated in was what is known as co-founder stock options, which is kind of going to give them some sense of ownership. But along the line, while working with these co-founders, the trending Japa in Nigeria, some of them have to relocate. One of them is in Canada as we speak. One of them is in Germany. They did not actually quit. But my question is this: what will you do if your co-founders' attention to the responsibilities pertaining to their role is beginning to get characterized by inconsistency, poor commitment, which directly is compromising your partnership agreement? Thank you, sir.
it'll be fair for you not to see me. So the EBN network, which is the Economy Business Network, is essentially styled to foster as much cross-pollination of ideas, cross-pollination of solutions, amongst business enterprises, MSMEs, and also to be able to stimulate the intergeneration of revenue. So as soon as we have a potpourri or a portfolio of at least 50 people in a space, it means that commerce can easily be ignited. It means that there can be interdependencies and interrelativities of operation, especially if these enterprises are from various sectors within an industry, or there are various categories and competencies within an industry. So as it were, at this point in time, we have at least 250 membership, on the EBN network. So it presents a very, very vibrant viral opportunity for such as the cross-pollination, interdependencies, interrelativities, ability to learn from one another, ability to, cross-pollinate services and products, amidst and amongst ourselves. And also, to a great extent, the education and the training that we're trying to facilitate right now gives that grace to understand the operationalization of the industry that you are in. It helps you to know what is obtainable. It also helps you to understand where the government is going in terms of policies, in terms of finances. What is taxation about? What we have learned today from the Innovation Growth Hub is how they have introspectively been able to establish an ecosystem where they can pretty much just optimize or exploit the value chain that is existent in their economy, in their community. And that value chain can also be, it can be optimized, it can be rippled, it can be developed and catalyzed in so many ways such that they become more visible for opportunities for loan schemes or for grants or whatever international support or corporate private sector support that they can get. And I think that EBN is well on the way to establishing that. But if we do not understand or are able to apply these customized ideas for us, we will continue to think that it is government that needs to provide these things for us. Inherently, we have these resources amongst ourselves, and it's time for us to be able to start developing and catalyzing the operations. It also gives us the chance to give you the necessary information or the necessary policies or updates that are also coming in, that are also being developed within the polity. You have the first-hand ability, you have first-hand access to such information. If we wanted to develop any sort of initiative or drive any project, you get the first-hand opportunity to be abreast of such information. So these are some of the things that gives you leverage as a member of the Economy Business Network and as an MSME. We're already, beginning to negotiate with the private sector, negotiate with financial institutions. We're having meetings, and there are quite a number of things that are already in play in the pipeline, that you can leverage and that you can fully exploit. So I congratulate you once again for making time. And I believe that there will be more coming across board. But I'm just quickly going to hand over. Mr. Daniel Chinagozie has come in. Thank God for that. And I'd like for him to address the questions. So please feel free to ask your questions and send in messages if that is what you desire. I also understand that Ife, our community manager, is also hand-holding quite a number of businesses as well. Please feel free to interact and exchange across board. And I'll speak to you as we round off later on. So, Mr. Chinagozie, I'm yielding the floor to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that have been at this meeting all through to this time. It shows a level of interest to grow. I so when the person asked the question on when your co-founder is Jackpa, I just laughed because it's a usual thing. I've experienced it. Personally, I actually also had my own co-founder leave the country, and most times you can't stop it. Not just co-founders now, even very good staff, like especially for companies like us that run technologies businesses. You see opportunities that are giving people opportunities to work abroad, and you see your staff prepare your students to take advantage of them, and then your students travel, and then they are telling their teachers, your staff, sir, this opportunity, there are a lot of opportunities here. Come join us. This is better. This is bigger. And you are not an evil person. You will let them go. Okay. When it comes to co-founders, that's why I talked about organization. It's important. I'm running for a fiscal 2 o'clock meeting. So I'm on the road now. I'm no longer at my workspace. So it's important you understand that because you need your co-founders to work, the company is not you or your co-founder. The company is the company. So there should be a detailed co-founders agreement at the point of engagement, and then the company should offer both you and your co-founders role or job. It's the company that offers you the work, not you. I know you own the company, you are the founders of the company. Yes, what you are is the founder. Their co-founders agreement is the company that now should give you role of the CEO or COO or CTO. And then there is a job description which you must do. Also in line with what your Tife, can you hear me? I hope I'm audible. Am I audible enough?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you.
yes. I can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So if your co-founder is a CTO of the company, just chief technical officer or chief operations officer or whatever, chief financial officer, and then when he jackpats or when he travels and he can no longer do that role, now what you are replacing is the role, not your co-founder. So it's either you hire someone else to take the role your co-founder is handling, like the chief operations officer or chief financial officer. Okay. Now you know that, because what happens most times is that we're in a hurry to change our co-founder, not the role our co-founder is playing. For example, I have 3 co-founders. One is the chief marketing officer, one is the chief operations officer, I am the chief executive officer. When my COO was traveling to the US, was relocating to the US, she hired herself 2 other staff, 2 operational staff, to cover the role she was playing, her day-to-day role. But her role as a co-founder was still very necessary, because what made you find a co-founder is not because your co-founder was showing up every day. Is the role, is the ability for the person to take decision or the work the person is doing. My co-founder today is relevant to me more now that she's in the US, because she has access to opportunities. She opens up doors to meetings. Okay, we're expanding to the US thanks to her. Okay, but if I started saying, you have jackpot, you are no longer necessary for us. No, let's hire people to do her day-to-day role here in Nigeria. Because, for example, I can't remember the last time I walked into an IG Hub office. We have 5 IG Hub branches. I don't work from any of them. Most times I work from my AFDB office, the project I'm doing for AFDB. I work from there, and then I'm supporting IG Hub. You don't necessarily, what limits us is when we think that a co-founder should be there physically with you every day. Now, if you are able to find who else is able to do the function that your co-founder is meant to be functioning, get your co-founders to see their position, their travel position as a vantage point for the company, so that they are still looking out for opportunities for growth for the company where they are. Leverage it, convert it to something positive for you. That's my first option. Another thing is that he can still be a co-founder, but no longer a COO. Now that means you are now getting someone else to do their role, They are not earning salary, but it has not taken them away from the ownership because of the role they played in founding the company. Okay, don't, unless they now want you to buy them out. Okay, they are no longer interested. They're no longer doing anything, and there's nothing they are contributing. Okay, so because of the work they are doing abroad, my CFO and my COO that have relocated, they join senior management meeting once a month. During that period, the people working on their roles have reported to them, and then they are the one presenting what operations is doing and all that and all that. It gives them a sense of belonging, gives them a sense that what is happening, and then it also helps them. Okay, like if there's an application we are doing, and I know that the people working cannot do it, I call them, madam, I think I need you to do this work. So can you give it some time after they have worked on it? Can you review it? Okay, so they still review it. They know we're not paying them day-to-day salaries anymore because they're not there, but their role as co-founders. So you go back to your co-founders agreement and reduce their work. You can even reduce their equity if need be. Let's say if you're bringing someone else to take their role and then the person requires equity, the equity you offer to that will be a part of what they had. Don't be in a hurry to sack your co-founder. After all, some people, their wife or their husbands travel and they are still married. And then they're still, so you need to check those things very well so that you don't make a decision that would destroy the company. But this is on case-to-case basis. If your case is special and this, what I've said, cannot answer it directly, we can have further conversations and see how that can be better sorted. I hope I was able to answer your question, Gideon.
To a great extent, thank you very much for your very balanced point of view. I do really appreciate. Just to add to the context, we have a co-founders agreement which was definite on the roles and responsibilities. But the tricky part of this situation is the fact that you remember the reason why I even offer them the stock options was because we are still bootstrapping. We cannot afford them at that instant. So having them go now, although I know it's a conversation that can be had, just like you suggested, that they should fund the recruitment of somebody who can fill their day-to-day roles. Okay. Personally too, I've ruminated on it. I've realized that I don't want to just sack the co-founder, but then it's telling on our journey, it's telling on our progress, the vacuum that has been left. So thank you very much. I will appreciate if we can have this conversation further to be able to look at the specifics. For example, now somebody has suggested even sacking them on the chat, to which I responded. They are still, the CTO is still in cost, although the technology we patented it in the name of the company, but it's still in custody of it. So if you are sacking him now, if I'm sacking him now, that means I will have to go and be doing lawsuits in Germany to go and be having him to hand over the technology framework and all of that. So I'm not going the route of sacking him, and I do appreciate. So I will look forward to the opportunity to have this conversation with you so that we can look at all the cases and probably how to best optimize this. Thank you again, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah. So my first position is sit down and look at how can his JACPA be of advantage to you. A lot of companies have their CTOs sitting in India and they are fully operations in US or in Europe or even in Nigeria. So your CTO, it's possible that how many hours he will work on your project in a day might be 2 hours or 3 hours. Okay, he's the chief technical officer. He's not necessarily be the person that will be doing. I know you might be at your early stage, so it's possible you have very serious conversations with the person. Okay, and then if you need me to come in, I can come in to support you guys. Okay, so that you have the actual conversations that are necessary for you to grow. Basically, thank you.
Very well. I appreciate your contact or email so that we can take it off from there. Thanks a lot, sir.
Say once again, thank you so much to Mr. Daniel Chinagozie for such a very well detailed and realistic expose. Thank you to Mr. Akonde as well. I think that what they have submitted is very explicit on their own. We always, as I've been an entrepreneur before, I still work on that journey, even though I'm not very, very active. And every time I hear LIRS or any taxation conversation, my guards are up. But, I have learned over time that when you're open to your tax papers, you're open to documentation, you're open to finances, it also strategically positions you, for benefits and opportunities. And, as an enterprise, as a young startup, you definitely want to be privy, you want to be exposed to opportunities in a commercial city like Lagos, as it were. So I would definitely, encourage everyone, all of our enterprises, to be well suited, get more understanding about your documentations, your taxation documents, make sure that you have the right knowledge, make sure that you're getting the right guidance. Do not try and, circumvent any process, because one way or another, it has a way of just getting back to you. Another way, okay, Tifa is back. Another angle that I think that, it would be necessary for us to mention is that some of the scoring sheets that we will be developing for us to establish the linkages, the market linkages, the access to funding, and the capacity building programs that we're building is also very hinged. They're quite hinged upon some of those things, being a resident in Lagos State, running your business operations in Lagos State, how long you're doing it, what sort of turnover you have, what are the challenges that you're facing, so it's documentations like this that help us, that guide us to be able to see how serious and how your trajectory of growth is, and we're able to, sort of weigh and evaluate the sort of help that you would need. We're a very strong government office. Mr. Governor, if I can tell you, is very, very keen on scaling businesses at this very, very young age. And he's also very, very passionate about diffusing the job employment bracket that is existential in Lagos, as it were. So we're using the process, we're using the circular economy space, we're using the sustainable environmental space to be able to drive that job creation and also be able to achieve that carbon emission vision zero that is ahead for us. So I'm going to hand over. I think that this is pretty much what I'm going to say. I don't think that there's any need for me to come back on, but the space is really, really open. The market is really open. We haven't started to proliferate, and I just want to charge that for people who are entering into the market, for people who are, I see the members here as ambassadors. And as ambassadors, what I would say is that you need to start to spread the gospel of sustainable environment, of green economy. And you can't do it if you're not selling the economic opportunities that are inherent. Do not think that, by hugging these ideas that you're doing yourself a favor. The truth about it is that within the economies of scale, if we do not stimulate as much demand within the market as possible, then there will be no supply trajectory, there will be no supply scaling that can meet a demand. That's the way that we can balance this this market space. So let us start to talk. Let us create a awareness. Let us sensitize the policy. Let us sell the ideals of recycling, within the fashion space, within the textile space, the recycling aspect, the upcycling aspect, the rewearing of clothing, just to be able to save the planet. Let us talk about how we can begin to introspectively develop ways of, developing alternatives, even within the household. You want to use a cleaning item like a Clorox, you can actually develop a Clorox. You can use clothes that have been used, you can clean them up and put them into a jar and put spirit and put some form of scent and into it. You can develop things that are used for lip balm. You can develop things that can be used for bathroom fresheners. There's so many ideas that we can begin to sell within our market, and I think that if we're aggregating this sort of information and we're experimenting it within ourselves, it compels us to go out there and begin to talk, and it also gives room for business opportunities. people who can look at where they want to start a small business within their within their community. These are things that you can start to talk about. What about those that are in software development? Those that are innovators. There are so many applications or innovations that is needed right now. When I went for an event a few months ago, I saw how somebody has created an application that helps with collection of cups at parties. And we are a party people. We're very community driven. So imagine that you have a solution for driving and inducing people to go and submit their cups or submit their bottles at an event or at a recreational club, and how you can also use that as your own basis or your own raw materials to play in the carbon market, but also even to, interrelate with other collectors and aggregators, and how you can also have that converted into, there's so many things that you can use such things for. So, leveraging technology is another key aspect. And I know that we have a lot of young people in our midst, and we're also connected within the communities that we have access to people who have these sorts of ideas or these solutions. Let us start to spread the word. The more, the merrier, the better, and the faster it is for us to achieve this vision of low carbon emission, but whilst we're also encouraging, unlocking the potentials, and also economically rewarding ourselves in the process. Thank you all very much, and have a good day. Tife, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ma. There were two questions I wanted to ask, but the first one you already answered. That question was supposed to be asked by Mrs. Toyin Oluokun, but she said she's in a noisy environment, so she cannot like unmute right now. But I believe from your response so far, you've answered the question. The question was supposed to be, why is it only plastic recycling the government is being recognized of? But at the end of the day, you just made it clear to us that we are not just limited to the plastic recycle, but other aspects of sustainability. Thank you very much, Ma. So the second question now is to Mr. Daniel. I don't know if Mr. Daniel is still with us.
Live and direct.
Okay, so you mentioned something earlier about how your organization helps to mentor people, mentor startup, mentor brands, and all of that. So I would like, because I run a lash business, a beauty business. So I would like to ask if your organization mentoring is just limited to like tech, or do they have other branches like beauty industry, fashion industry, and all of that? So I like to make that inquiry, sir.
Okay. If like from what I said earlier, you should mention that our interest is stressed on the founder. Okay, and then the problems the founder is solving, and then what his position is. If a founder is able to show us that he has an understanding of a problem that exists in the fashion industry, like I think I also mentioned that our portfolio is in the fashion space. So it's not just technology. We're business, technology, and creative incubation hub, even in the people in the creative space. And we have investment in an art gallery. We have an investment in an art school. So some of the people we support, we incubate businesses. Okay, there might be technology businesses, there might be technology enabled businesses. So, but the only thing that happens is that when we come in, we try to see how technology can help you in scaling. Okay, we want to look at scale. Is this scalable? Is there a way we can leverage technology to scale this business bigger and faster? So we also consider that. So if we listen to your story and see what opportunities your business presents, we are always willing to incubate and support startups. And the businesses we support are not just businesses within our locations. We have businesses and investments across Africa. I think we have like more than 10 portfolios that are outside of Nigeria. So we have portfolios we have a Gary business in Ijabode across board. So feel free to reach out to us if you need us to work with you. And I also wanted to drop something on the question that was asked on sustainability. Now, why is as if a lot of people examples we are giving on sustainability is around plastic, is because that's what is facing us mostly. But I encourage people to innovate around the sustainability space. There are a lot of other opportunities you can innovate around the sustainability area. Okay. Few days back, I was with Madam Titula on stage, and after we were finished with our event, they started tearing down all the banners for the event. Now, all those banners for those events, I started asking myself, can't we innovate on what we can use to do prints and banners and all that, so that after events, it can be reused for something else. It can be upcycled for something else. Okay. So what leads to people to start thinking is, what are materials that are used a lot, that are a lot in use, and how can we make sure they are sustainably used. Okay. You travel to some African countries, you will no longer see plastic as packaging. Almost everything is paper. Okay, because of its shelf life and all that. So we need to start thinking, do we use policy to checkmate the use of materials that are hurting us in the environment? So there are opportunities, and then that's why we're young. Okay, as much as we can innovate, as much as we can see value in it, as much as we can open up to solve problems. If you're solving any problem, and you are clear about the problem, you are clear about the value proposition on the issue, I am willing to jump on with you to take that journey together. We as an organization, I mean. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. So thank you very much, Mr. Tokumbo Akonde, for taking our time today. And thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Chigozie, for being very insightful and detailed on how we can get access to, sponsorship, funding, and also positioning our business for investment. Thank you very much. And once again, I would like to thank the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on climate change and circular economy for granting us this opportunity. And I believe this section, once again, has been very impactful to each and every one of us here. Please, let's do well to reach out to me in case we have any further questions regarding today's section. I'll be very much excited to have everyone's question and get back to you on the answers. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tife. As promised, I've sent the presentation to you. So please share with all those people on the call.
Sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we've come to the end of the webinar. Do have a great day.
Sorry,
everyone.
I just wanted to, just once again, just acknowledge and send deep appreciation to Mr. Tokumbo Akonde and Mr. Daniel Chigozie. Please express my unfounded appreciation to the chairman, LIRS, my Egbon. I really, really appreciate him. And I understand, I know that he wanted to be here, but the fact that he has sent you to represent him is even more heartwarming for me. Thank you so much for the time. Mr. Chigozie, I'm so sorry. Thank you again, once again. I like your vibrancy. I really want you to work closely with our network here. Let us replicate the resourcefulness that you are driving in your network with your people, and let's see how we can take things to the next level. Thank you so much, everybody. I see all of the participation. Thank you all, Mr. Wasiu and Mr. Lukotun, and all of our team at the EBN Network. God bless you all. God bless all your hustle. We will reach El Dorado by God's grace. All right. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
madam.
Bye-bye.
A lot, ma.